August 16th, 2006, nearly 55 years after civil rights activists Harry and Harriet Moore were killed by a bomb. A renewed investigation finds that 4 now deceased Ku Klux Klansmen were responsible. Their house was blown up on Christmas Day in 1951. It happened to be their silver anniversary, which I believe is their 25th wedding anniversary. They were civil rights activists back in the late 40s, early 50s. And not surprisingly, it was found that there was a lot of foul play, and the KKK was involved. As far as the series, it's a great challenge. We're looking forward to it. We know the Clippers are, they have a great team. They have great coaching. They have great personnel. They're deep. We've had a couple of good days of prep, and we're excited to get out there.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and start with Saad.
Hey, Rick. Hope you're well. You often talk about complementary basketball, how good defense leads to good offense. Does that work the other way around? And if so, how does a really good offense help with defense as well?
Well, efficiency and taking care of the ball is huge when you're playing against a team like the Clippers that are disruptive. They got a lot of guys that get a lot of steals. George and Leonard are great wing defenders. Beverly is disruptive. And they got a lot of other guys that cause problems. Harrell's going to be ready to play. He's another guy that's a deceptive steals guy. And if you give up live ball turnovers, it's really, really difficult. You just, defensively, you can never really get your defense set. So look, defense has a very impactful effect on offense and vice versa. In this series, we're going to have to be really good on both sides of the ball. Our offense is going to have to be efficient, and we're obviously going to have to make our share of shots. Defensively, we're going to have to really be tuned into the details because they do some things that are difficult to guard, and they have great players.
Okay, great. We'll do one more on Zoom and then a couple in the room. Dan Wokey, you're up next.
Rick, in the 3 games this season, the Clippers did a decent job against Luka in terms of limiting his clean looks and forcing turnovers. Is that a product, you think, of their wing defense, like you'd mentioned with Kawhi and Paul George? And when a guy is on the ball as much as Luka, the ball is in his hands a lot. Is it harder to free him up from primary defenders?
Well, any team we've played all year long has tried to make it hard on him. The Clippers were certainly no different. And look, they're a top defensive team, as it is. And so they're going to make it hard on everybody. We have to be prepared for them to deny him and to be disruptive that way. And we'll just have to sometimes initiate with other people and keep the game flowing. And sometimes you get a great player like Luka, even when they don't have the ball, they can have a great impact on the game with off-ball screening and cutting. And so, we've talked about that. We've spent some time looking at those situations. We have to play basketball in this series offensively, and it's going to be challenging because of the physicality to call plays and run plays all the time. And everybody does a good job of scouting this time of year. So, our flow game is going to be a very important part of this, but we're going to have to be solid on defense to get that going.
Okay, great. We're going to go to Cassidy with ESPN. She's in the room.
Obviously, Luka's been on many big stages, with this being his first playoffs and going up against a guy like Patrick Beverly, who is an irritant. What kind of messages have you talked to or sent him about a mental battle he may face in a playoff series?
Well, he's been facing these things all year. And so, the emotions of the playoffs can be high. but he's been through it at a very high level in a lot of the European league play, championship play over there, national team play. Look, it's not the NBA necessarily, but it still is very, very much high stakes basketball. And so he'll take his experience from those things into this. We've played a lot of high profile games in 2 years with him here, even though none of them have been playoff games to this point. And so am I concerned about it? We want to put him in the best possible position to play well and help us be successful. But we've talked about these situations and scenarios, and it's gonna take a level of patience and discipline by him at times because of how difficult they're going to make it or try to make it on him.
Okay, and then the last question is going to be with Brian with the AP, who's also there with you.
Do you have any curiosity or questions, concerns, anything about now? Given the layoff, I don't think anybody could play 8 games hard. It had to be somewhat of a ramping up situation. But now you got to be 100%. Guys got to play heavy minutes and all that. Is everyone ready for that kind of thing at this point in time?
We're talking about everybody, meaning the 16 teams or our team or what?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Your own.
Look, I mean, people put up historic numbers here. I mean, the games were hard played games, really straight across the board, and so just from my observation of this entire operation, everybody did a great job of getting their teams ramped up. And this is essentially for, the Orlando bubble situation. This is, teams, should be in midseason form, conditioning wise and rhythm wise. The break here, one of the things that's a little bit unusual about this situation is you got 8 games in, whatever it was, 17 days or whatever it was. And so that's pretty crowded. Plus, you have a back-to-back thrown in there. And really, once you get into that, it's very difficult to have live practices, even on the days in between. And so, this period, this has been a 3-day break. We've had a chance to do some practicing, and we had a live practice yesterday. And so you got to take advantage of it. And you want to get some live work on the one hand, but on the other hand, you've got to be mindful of legs and rest and things like that. But I believe that based on the circumstances that everyone has been handed here, that the playoff teams are going to be ready to go. Okay.
Thanks, Coach. Talk to you later.
Thank you.